there is most likely going to be a hint for light arrows. Since we cannot get Ganon's hint for where they are, we will be seeing most likely a path to Evil's Bane, which is which points to the light arrows or something that directly gets you the light arrows.
Yeah, definitely a hint that you want to have if it exists. It's not guaranteed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain situations where there might not be one, but most of the time you will have an Evil's Bane path. And with the light arrows actually locking checks in these settings in the form of Ganon's Castle, definitely an item that has a little bit more power to it than previous seasons.
Yep. So we'll just go over path priority right now while everyone is screaming about chickens and Ocarina games. So the way hints work in Season 8 now, as opposed to last year, is that we have a dual win condition now. So the first priority you will get are to the medallions that unlock the bridge and the light arrows. So that's where the Evil's Bane path comes in, and then anything that is required to unlock the bridge, we will see a higher priority for a path for. So we may see 2 paths from one of those.
Yep.
Next comes the Ganon Boss Key, which is the other medallions required to, or the other however many medallions, 6 or 4 of them. Those will be the next highest priority. And if after all that we still have space, we might see something called Path of the Hero, which only is only for checks that aren't required, or items that aren't required to complete the Ganon's boss key or bridge condition, but are still required to beat Ganon, which I believe can only be a bow and magic in these settings, or a strength that leads to said bow or magic.
Yeah, it could be any like progressive item that's not needed for any other dungeon that unlocks your ability to beat Ganon.
Yeah.
But one thing I did notice in the early game is that it seems as though Mr. Mario was the only one who did Lost Woods checks in the early going. So in Season 8, we have our Baron hints, these hints that tell you whether a location in the game is logically relevant or not, meaning it has no major items in it, or songs that lock checks. They are fixed at Temple of Time. So with that particular spawn, the 2 Lost Woods checks are kind of slow, and you need to farm money for one of those scrubs. So it seems as though the other 3 opted to maybe go to Temple of Time first, and if Lost Woods is foolish, then they save some time getting those checks in the early going, while Mario decided to play a little thorough and grab them while they were in the area. Right, we're getting our first look at market checks. Seeing a similar route for Alexis, Zavi, and Fair. Mario following behind, like I said, after doing those Lost Woods checks.
All right, shooting from Alexis, and it's done. Slingshot was on K-Sword Chest, but yes.
Yeah, Zarkola is the... I just used to calling them Zavi. So I saw Castle, DMT, and Water for Foolishes, and I think Burning Cack was Nocturne? If I saw that correctly. We'll get another look at it from the other runners to confirm.
Yep.
Nocturne is on Minuet. Okay, thank you, VXR. So now, you just play Minuet, grab your Nocturne, and then just Nocturne right over to CAC. You don't even have to walk through Hyrule Field.
Yep. It's Sheik in the meadow. Okay. Yep.
I'm not 100% on that TNT. I feel like the answer is yes, but I don't have that written down next to me.
Yes, this is the first season in Standard where we've had dual hints.
Ah, okay, thank you. I saw something spawn Hylian Shield. The quality on Alexis's stream tends to get a little grainy from time to time.
I didn't get a real good peek at that medallion or the pedestal check, but I did see DC is required.
Water, Fire, Spirit, Deku, DC, Job. Okay. Water, Fire, Spirit, Deku, DC. Okay. Alright, so this is kind of your standard early game at this point. You definitely want to hit Adult CAC first. A lot of checks, a free song, really gives you a solid base to base your decision making through the part of the early game. A lot of seeds can be made easier or harder than other seeds based on what's here in CAC in the graveyard by an extension. We get frogs too with the scale. That's an interesting play by Fair, and we have Zavi going up Zora's River as well. Kind of a rogue strat that's kind of come up lately is going early river. You go to Ganon's castle to make it night, and then you head up Zora's River. You get these checks, and you get a bunch of hints. And then by the time you get back down, it's daytime, and you're ready to go clean up your CAC checks like usual.
There's some fire arrows on Dompe Race. Could be some spirit logic. In case we never find Dens.
Stick. Alright, what is our CAC song? Requiem, okay. That's gonna unlock us another song. Fair did pick up Choose. That could be very impactful for Fair, especially in the early game, depending on how they use them and how many they have.
Yep. Richard's mom actually paying out for once.
Yeah, and that's not a check that a lot of players will do that early in the game. Without Sunsong, anyway.
And we just saw a path. Spirit Temple to Goma.
We also have Shadow Temple to Morpha.
Ooh. Stone Shadow finds a way.
Okay, so that Spirit to Goma is a bridge condition path, if I have my medallions marked correctly. Ooh, okay, early hook. Definitely one of those items you'd rather find earlier than later, seeing as how hook locks half the game by itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an early child dip of Spirit.
Especially with that path to Goma, and we have a slingshot, so it's in logic even.
Yep, 30, 40, and 50 are dead, which is nice. Everyone kind of high-fiving each other all over the place right now.
Yeah, not really getting a lot of useful items in the early game for Alexis, Zavi, and Mario. We do have a strength upgrade, so DC probably going to be something our runners will do. Fair is the only one who has those shoes, however. And there's a big chest here, locked by said bomb shoes. Another slingshot. So very reasonable here. Alexis is going to go dip DC with strength upgrade. That is a progression dungeon. No reason to put this off currently, especially because we're kind of lacking in big unlock items. We have stuff, but like no real concrete great plays right now.
Well, and there's nothing that says that we can't just have a French vanilla or vanilla bomb bag in here.
True.
It happens quite frequently. Yeah. Okay,
All right,
Skull
well,
Kid, you can keep that wet t-shirt.
that's a really nice hint to find here, because of Saria's being at Lon Lon Ranch kind of makes it a little awkward, because Skull Kid's available very early, but just, you know, one of those checks that was awkward to route in for our runners. It's good knowing that it's not, from their perspective, it's good to know that it's not like a super important early game item.
Right.
I'd be happy seeing that hint here.
I don't know if Alexis did pick up the stick upgrade, but stick upgrade on the windmill ledge.
Where's Fair going here? Oh, it's night. They have to set time of day, I believe. Going out to get this boulder. Okay, another chess game hint.
Oh, well, there's our first hook shot, just in the cow crate.
Yeah, really an item you want to see earlier rather than later, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we're heading through DC here. I can only imagine that Alexis post DC, if they don't find more explosives in here, probably head up to Crater, grab that song, but then after that, probably you're looking at Child Spirit.
Mm-hmm. And there is not a bomb bag in here, so gonna drop the pillar. Well, not drop it, but hit the button for it. Okay.
Shadow Temple Blades is X plus key. And yep, Alexis going up DMT. We have a lot of runners kind of retracing each other's steps currently.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that we'll see a similar path for the other runners.
Yeah.
Although Fair will be able to get the back checks in DC and potentially beat it if they want to spend the choose.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta throw the bomb. He's just staring at him. Uh-oh. Gotta aim a little bit lower, Mario. Oh! I knew it, man. I had that feeling that Link the Goron was going to be a troll. It's tough to get the timing on that with the strength upgrade. You have to... It's one of those things that you got to practice a little bit in order to get the hang of it. And even great players will mess it up from time to time. Gets it there, though.
Yeah.
Interesting that Mario is going up DMT in Goron City before DC. Maybe they're hoping to do sort of a wraparound route. Grab the song first. Do a few more checks, hope for explosives before going in.
ZL
Alright.
in the crater.
Definitely a song you want to see early. Locks a lot of the game. Interesting. A fire dip here.
Yeah. This is becoming
Ooh.
more and more common.
Okay.
Just checking the first check to see if your hammer locked or not.
That was really cool. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but there's a trick you can do. If you have a heat timer active, you can press the ocarina button on the D-pad, and it will actually stop the timer for a little bit while you're in midair. And that's what Alexis just did in order to get into the entrance before the timer hit 0. Not a lot of people know that you can do that, and it definitely saved their butt. I don't think they would have made it in the door if they didn't do that. That was really cool. You do have a key in the first chest of fire. Keep that in mind. Okay, nothing on the silver gauntlets chest over there on the hand. Mario's gonna go back child.
And storms out at Requiem. So, songs switching spots.
Yeah, this is just like, this is a screaming, your next progression is in child. You've got the Spirit to Goma, Child Spirit you can do. Don't have explosives, but you've got the well available, which can very much yield explosives.
Right.
They're going to try and hit this chew setup for the eyes here from the bottom. Nice. Gets it perfect. First try.
Yep. And Fair is going to be able to clear DC on his first trip through. Out of logic, of course, but...
We might have Alexis and Mario both going to do the same thing, although Mario took a little pit stop to get Richard first, so he'll have those bomb chews. Also, no Composer Grip for Alexis? Did they just forget?
I don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
That's from Dompe. And now Mr. Mario going to actually do Composer Grave.
All right. First S8 qual. Pickens, what do you got? Nothing.
We got a Bolero out of Composer Grave. It's kind of nice for getting back to Crater, at least.
You really like to see that there? Because you had to go to Crater to get ZL in order to get that in the first place. It justifies your trip there on foot.
I have no idea how Mr. Mario did that, but I'm going to have to rewatch this VOD again to figure out how he managed to do that flame storage as fast as he did.
Yeah, he did it so fast I missed it.
I didn't see him light the stick is how fast he did it.
Alright, we've got Alexis going into the well. Looks like Mario is probably going to hit up Child Spirit first. He has those chews. Ooh, okay. I saw a big chest out of the corner of my eye in that underwater chest in the beginning.
Which is only ZL locked.
Yeah, so all of our runners will be able to get that, should they choose to come here. I expect we'll see all of our runners at the well at some point. The seed feels like it's very much pointing you towards that. Ooh, but there's a big chest bomb shoe locked over in the corner that Alexis can't get. That is the danger of coming here without explosives with CSMC on. And now I think you just start opening every chest hoping that you can get some bomb shoes.
That's magic.
Okay. You want that. You don't necessarily want that right now.
Nope, you want bombs right now, but... And if I'm not mistaken, that was another stick upgrade above Dodongo's head.
Honestly, I'll take that. Alright, Fair gonna be the first of our restream runners to get a medallion dungeon completed here. It is one of our bridge requirements.
Oh, I missed it. Must have been a nice 2-cycle from Fair. Oh, look, it's a case.
There we go. So, we could potentially be done with our bridge requirements. Hints. That's only locked by that slingshot. And we know that there is a bomb-locked sling. Ooh, okay.
Hammer.
We got the hammer in the well. I mean, Alexis is probably feeling great about that, considering no explosives, but...
Right.
You really, honestly, you'd almost prefer to get that big chest in the back your first time here.
Right. And they're explosive adjacent. I mean, with the exception of a few things, they can basically open anything.
Yeah, with the exception of that big pile of gunk in the back.
Well, you also can't lift it.
Another big chest here in Spirit. A boar!
Yeah, Child Spirit definitely having the good stuff today.
So our Spiritomorpha path hint is Spiritomorpha. Spiritogoma path hint is fulfilled. We don't have to think about that anymore.
Big stabby.
Good old 30-minute time save, baby.
Okay, so for Zavi.
So, all things considered, this could be one of those seeds where bridge condition hint logic doesn't play that big of a role. We've got DC as one of our bridge conditions, we've got Deku as the other, and that Deku hint's already fulfilled. The only bridge condition path hints we could still get is for a path bomb bag, or if the slingshot we got in the Kokiri sword chest just happens to be path, which isn't impossible, but is improbable. We could have a decent amount of information on all of our medallions. This could play much more like a normal seed than we were anticipating.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Deku and DC to both be the bridge.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that you can grab that ledge without blowing the BMOS up. You learn something new every day.
And ice arrows is something that we would like to find, like, ironically now, because those are not ice arrows anymore. They are blue fire arrows.
That's true, and they are logically relevant. The game could, in very rare instances, expect you to unfreeze King Zora, or actually no, that's not the case. Just to unfreeze King Zora.
But it does make ice look a lot cooler.
It does. It really does. It's like the swag way to complete ice. If you have the ability to clear ice with blue fire arrows, even if you got a bottle, you got to use the blue fire arrows.
Right. But hopefully we won't see a help seed today, but who knows.
Looks like Mario is going to clean up some of these checks that were left here. They can full clear Child Goron City at the same time, but with limited... I mean, your spawn is so close, you might as well just check them and scum the choose, potentially. It looks like that's where he's going.
Yeah, I didn't get a real good look at it, but it did look like the maze center was a large gilded, but that peak is difficult for me with magic turned on.
Getting our first look at these Deku hints. I missed the first one. Oh, interesting. We're getting a forest dip from Fair here.
I mean...
Okay, Burning Caxons.
Had Fair been to the well, I would say I can completely understand this play. This is just completely clearable.
Yeah, it is an interesting... Maybe it's one of those, like, plays where you think, oh, not a lot of people will do this. It's kind of quick. Because sometimes races come down to situations where it's like, oh, well, this is kind of an okay time to do this, so I'll do this now. And then for another player, it's just never a convenient time to do this check. So maybe Fair sees this as, oh, this is a convenient time to do this. I'll get this out of the way now, and who knows, maybe it'll pay off.
So something to note here is if Mr. Mario, or not, yeah, if Mr. Mario does the Goron pot with a chew, will not be able to get the maze. But it looks like he's going to try to do it with strength.
Yeah, this is one of those things that I just don't attempt. Because I can never get it consistent enough. You got the timing down?
Oh! That was a slam dunk. And it's vanilla.
Reset? Oh no, he's gonna go check the maze and...
Yeah.
I think he did see a big chest in there. Ooh, big chest on Zavi's side. Another bow. Alright.
Okay.
No path bow.
Nope.
Oh, don't kill yourself. Okay. I was half expecting him to just autopilot and blow himself up. Okay, it's gonna peek the left side here.
It's a heart.
Small chest.
That's a nice save scum from Mr. Mario. Not finding anything. Gonna get all those 7 chews back.
Yeah, chew usage can really give you a big advantage in the early
Oh.
game if you...
Just getting 9 chews back.
Even bigger advantage. Nice B1 skip by Zavi. One of the important tricks to learn for any runner getting into Ocarina of Time Randomizer racing, especially in Standard. One of the few sequence breaks that saves you a lot of time and hassle.
That and ground jumping. Both
sure,
can
definitely
be used to get past that ledge.
So with this Deku clear, we are simply light arrows away from being able to get into Ganon's castle, and we're only 33 minutes into the seed. Not logically, we don't have logical bomb bang yet, but we can. So maybe you start to think about, okay, maybe I should prioritize trying to see if that Evil's Bane path hint you explained earlier, maybe that's something that I'd want to, you know,
run to the back of the lake for.
Maybe not now with no Serenade, but just kind of keep in the back of your mind, like, okay, maybe Ganon's isn't that great right now, but as you start to clear more locations and get more items, maybe it starts to creep into the back of your mind, like, because you know it's going to be early this seed. I mean, the light arrows could be in the top of fire, and then we're just never going to Ganon's, maybe, but...
Right. Yes, kitten child, can I help you? You don't say, game. Thank you for that hint.
Chad makes a good point. That Deku bow is going to be bow 1 for certain players.
Were you aware that Kokiri Forest was on the path to Twin Rova?
No. Please tell me more.
Well, you see, in Midos, we found a strength and a mirror shield. But it's clearly for that slingshot that we found.
Oh yeah, for Deku completion, of course.
Yeah. Because it's higher in the priority path. Alright, sarcasm aside.
So now we're seeing Zavi kind of clean up those Lost Woods checks that they didn't get earlier in the seed. Now that they know there's no Lost Woods Baron at Temple of Time, since they've seen them already.
Lux is having a little trouble with flame storage, or not flame storage, B1 skip, but finally gets it. It is a deceptively hard trick. It looks simple. It's like, oh, you just do these jumps, but you got to be in the right spot, or it's going to fail every time.
And from checking out on Fair, it doesn't seem as though their forest dip yielded anything of consequence. Maybe a couple of skulls that could help with skull routing later down the line if they choose to go that route, but...
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that you should always get at least 10 and turn it in. If you're having trouble and can't find something later on, 20.
Yeah, Fair might be the first 10 skulls. And maybe Fair has that on their mind, essentially. That maybe they dipped forest because they're like, okay, I want to make sure that I get 10 skulls in early because I don't want to have this become a problem later. There are some runners who definitely prioritize things that way. They say, I want to get the problem checks out of the way because I don't want the problem checks to become a problem.
Right. My favorite's those 40 and 50 skulls with ambiguous items on them.
Oh, those are the worst.
Oh, Mr. Mario doing, not doing B1 skip, doing a variant of it called, referred to as Tsundere skip.
Well, as I tell everybody, the best version of any trick is the one that you can do first try.
Right.
So
I
this
know.
definitely looks cooler, though.
Yeah, I know Tsundere Skip's more popular with the keyboard players because it's easier to do than B1 Skip is. And just like magic, we have traded Alexis out for Volk. Alexis having some stream quality issues, so.
With the snap of the fingers.
Interesting.
Was that a bottom of the well?
Yeah.
This Bane path?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So if well wasn't important before, I wonder what's in that bomb lock check.
Well, I mean, oh!
Thanks, game. Okay, so we got a bomb bag just chilling out in Valley.
But what if it's hammerlocked?
That's
Can we get to that? Do we have Epona? We don't. Okay. If it is in the child lock checks out in GV, that would pretty much put an end to our remaining bridge conditions. But I think those are our 5 hints.
Yep, they are.
Yep. Bottom of the well, Bane, Kokiri to Rova, which is fulfilled, Shadow to Morpha, Spirit to Goma, which is fulfilled, and Valley to King Dodongo. So that's everything.
Yep.
Although I'll bet you Fair is very happy that that hint was locked by explosives. You have to spend a chew to get it. Alright, let's see what's going on with Volk. They've got Hammer. Got a bow. Yep, seems like Volk has already done the well. They have 3 chews. I don't see light arrows marked on their tracker. We'll see it on Mario's side, what's in this big chest. On stream, anyway.
I'm gonna guess it's some light arrows.
It's a wallet.
Interesting.
Ah, okay, I see. I see what's going on here.
Oh, is it because they're in fire?
They're hammer locked. Specifically.
Yeah, and past the elevator. Or
well, I mean,
both.
There's a lot of different ways this can go. This could be like just they're in Crater Fairy, or they're in Deep Fire, or they're locked by suns on Burning Cack, like. But basically, pretty high. I mean, there is magic in here too.
Oh yeah, true. There is magic.
But I mean, our Evil's Bane hint is not direct.
No.
So now we got to start thinking, okay, which of the items that we found in here is gonna lock our light arrows? I mean, I feel like the hammer locked a lot of checks on its own.
Yeah, since we know where that bomb bag is, though, it's not nearly as powerful as it was.
Yeah, for sure.
But that does give us fire. If we find Epona somewhere, that's Valley Rocks.
When it comes to locations left for Epona, I don't think we have any. At least not accessible right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like Epona in GTG. Or not GTG, Ice Cavern. I mean, I said GTG.
It is possible. We don't have logical access to it yet. Volk is at 12 skulls right now.
Yep. Going really hard on that skull routing.
What is this B1 skip setup? That was pretty cool. Usually you see people kind of, you know, roll up to the wall and they do like the backflip side hop, whatever nonsense. Volk had like some ESS turns going on there. That was just, that's above my pay grade. It's crazy the new stuff you see. You know, even watching just one runner one time, there's always opportunities to learn.
The classic, ooh, I'm stealing that.
Yeah. Alright, Zavi's walking out of the well. You don't see that very often. Usually people try to warp out. I wonder where they're going. Maybe heading back to TOT. Yeah, no convenient warp song to get back to Temple of Time, so that maybe that's the play.
Yeah, and Zavi doesn't have the explosives from Richard. Or Valley, for that matter. Chat pointing out, we do have Requiem, so Reverse Wasteland is a thing. It's not in logic, but it is a thing we could do right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting the feeling with this seed that you kind of want to stay in logic here. You don't have any hints pointing you to GTG. You've got your hammer available, so before you even consider that, I think you've got to do fire.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of a way that they'd get to Valley faster.
True. I believe the only person who knows that Valley's path to King Dodongo is Fair currently, the one who is doing the best on explosives.
Yep. And has magically found more bomb shoes somewhere.
I think they got it from the Grotto and Crater. I think there was a 20 pack. Good shoe setup there from Fair. I thought they released it a little late, but I guess it's more lenient than I thought, the release. Alright, we're getting a Crater Fairy check here from Zavi. Bottom of the well, Pat the Evil's Bane. Could be hammer locked, could be magic locked. In a very strange universe, could be wallet locked. The plot thickens.
Lord Banana. Depending on where that letter is, we could have lights in like Jabu. Yep. So probably not the hint Zavi wants to see, since Zavi really couldn't get a. Well, Zavi did get the hammer, so.
That's right. Yeah, Zavi
does
doesn't
know
have any explosives.
Right, so Zavi doesn't know that that is a wallet and just not the glow sticks.
Yeah, so that's a situation that they're gonna want to correct at some point because they think, oh, that's just light arrows.
Okay, so we got an out of logic bomb bag on Hyrule Castle. That's kind of cool.
That is hard bomb locked. We do have a path to King Dodongo, so that checks out. That's a very convenient bomb bag for Mario because, like I said, I don't know
when you're
where
the
other King Dodongo hint is.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Mario will probably find it eventually. Because wasn't it in Hyrule Field in a grotto?
The valley path? No, that was in the crater wall.
Oh, it
You
was in
had
the
to
crater
spend
wall.
you had to spend a chew to see it.
Okay.
So that's not the logical copy of the hint.
The crater wall. Oh.
Yeah, the one at the top.
Yeah.
Fair did a very sort of thorough-ish adult section where they, they used their chews and they spent them.
Baby Sword was in Spirit, Child Spirit specifically. It was the left chest on the child crawl, whatever the hint is for it.
There's the other well path that Volk has seen.
Mm-hmm.
Does Volk have the wallet? Yes, they do. So they were able to full clear their first time through.
Ooh. And for the only one so far who's setting up Mass Quest also.
Yeah, it's one of the underrated checks.
We do have a hint for it somewhere, but we haven't seen it yet.
And I mean, you're here. Why not just set it up?
Mm-hmm. And per the game's hint logic, you do not have to have both copies of a hint stone accessible to you. You only need to have one. And okay, well, my tunic logic.
That unironically, that's Fair is probably very happy to see that. Not right now, but when they pick up the hammer in the well, hopefully, they'll be very happy to have that tunic, seeing as how they're on 4 hearts. They have less hearts than everybody else.
I'm trying to
Here's
think.
a question. If you're Zavi here, you've got hookshot bow strength, but you don't have explosives at all. You've got in logic, fully clearable stone forest with a barren Hyrule field, so you know OOT is not relevant at all. How far do you go in here? Are you clearing the whole thing?
You can clear it. I don't see a reason not to at that point. I mean, if you're gonna, I could understand dipping courtyard, between the lobby and from the entrance to the lobby. That's 3 out of the however what five skulls that you can get in the dungeon.
Yeah. See, I'm thinking, because this could be one of those moments I was talking about earlier, where it's like, oh, it was convenient for me to do this because I didn't have any bombs the whole time, so I did all the forest looking for bombs. And I mean, we'll see if depending on whether Zavi decides to stay or leave. I feel like in Zavi's position, it's tough to leave here.
Right. Because it's not like the game so generously like buried the bow, hook, or strength 1 like 50 layers deep in the sea. They just said, hey, you want a forest kit? Here you go.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just have to see if there ends up being nothing in Forest Temple. Obviously, it's a big time loss in the early game. You never know. Things could work out differently throughout the seed, that the other runners end up doing, the rest or all of Forest Temple as well, and it ends up not being relevant. But this is one of those situations for Zavi that this could like make or break their run here, I feel. Still a lot of seed left to go, but it's really hard to recover from doing an entire non-required dungeon, so to say.
Right.
Alright, so we've got Volk and Fair kind of, doing checks we've already seen before. Xavi and Mario, you know, doing checks. We haven't seen Mario progression. Xavi, not progression. Volk is also very low on bomb shoes. They've only got 2 left.
Yeah.
So the good thing for Volk, they are going to be able to beat DC.
Maybe.
They have a strength.
They have a
upgrade.
hammer.
Yep. You can use the hammer to break the floor.
It is a very, very specific spot, and it is not friendly if you don't know where it's at.
Or if you don't know the setup.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed Volk opening the small brown chest here in DC. I think he's starting to feel the squeeze of not having a ton of explosives. He's got the hammer, so it's not like he doesn't have, you know, things to do or ways to go, but...
Well, right, but I mean, if Volk's really, really hurting, I mean, Volk could just Requiem out in reverse and buy him on
Yeah.
the trip over to GTG. So
I wonder... That might be... Maybe we'll see... Yeah, maybe we'll see that from Volk. It's really hard to convince yourself to do Hyrule Castle Fairy of all places when your spawn isn't nearby and you don't have a way to get back to market early. Like, I don't see Volk doing Castle Fairy to get that bomb bag with only 1 shoe left. I just don't see it. So maybe that's what Volk's thinking about right now.
Well, and the nice thing will be is if Volk has choose, it's, oh, I'm going to go check Valley. Okay. Well, you can peek one side with the bomb chew. If it's not the bomb bag, it's going to be in the waterfall.
Also, don't mind us. We totally did not see nor want to acknowledge Mario flipping off the block in the room. That never happened. Alright, it looks like Xavi is going to stay in Forest Temple, and I think it makes perfect sense from their perspective. This is just like, they don't know it yet, but this is big. This is big for their race, I feel. If they can pull anything out of here that's hard required, this could, like I said, this could be the make or break.
And before, like, Dens is in here.
That's very possible.
Because Dens is 100% hard required this seed because we have Spirit Temple to Morpha.
I mean, we don't know for certain.
Okay, if it's like, hey, we're gonna dive for Iron Boots, then okay, that kind of sucks. But if it's the long shot,
yep, true. If the long shot in there, definitely hard required. I mean, we do have a scale on frogs too, so it's not a comfortable thing. Like, it's not comfortable to get the second scale. It might not be possible.
First bomb bag is in Valley somewhere. We just don't know which one of the 2 checks it is.
Is there a world where it could be in the Hammer Rocks? I mean, it's not in logic, but like, I guess if the long shot goes up, then...
No, because we'd have to... I mean, we're song locked basically now behind medallions and stuff, right?
Medallions, Ice Cavern...
and Ice is behind Rudos, so unless we find a Rudos somewhere...
We're logically song locked. Technically, you could go to Ice, and that might be where Bulk is going.
Not a bad play.
It makes sense for Fair to climb. They don't have a way to use their fire source. They don't have a bow yet. So you can get these fire lock checks pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for this seed up to this point, we're seeing Volk and Xavi kind of do quote-unquote suboptimal plays due to the squeeze, the lack of explosives, whereas a Mario is charging in progression, Fair is, you know, child spirit. They're a little bit behind Mario in terms of progression, but they had those chews earlier. So they've been a little bit more thorough, especially in their first adult segment.
Yep. And let's face it, it doesn't take very long to clear out Deku Tree.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So what would be really funny is if we found 2 scales here in the next few minutes.
Well, we've got one on Frogs 2. That was hinted. That's Hyrule Castle 2 hint.
I don't know if you're...
If it falls into your lap, that's one thing. We're only missing Epona and Suns.
Yeah.
But actually, it's impossible to get that. I'm looking at my notes. Water is our forest medallion, and Suns is on Burning Cat. It is impossible to gold scale water this seed.
Yep. I'm just realizing that.
Yeah.
I was like, is there a world where it's just bait for irons in Shadow and long shots just somewhere else, and you just skip doing required Shadow because it's not logically required, it's just the game expects you to have them?
Free the Goron!
But,
and it's highest Goron, too.
So, that kind of sucks for Fire. You gotta climb all the way up.
I'm sure someone like Mario definitely would prefer to have to climb all the way up. Especially with... yeah.
You're not gonna go like, oh god, I got Deep Fire now. It's like, no, I had to go all the way to Deep Fire.
Especially with not a lot in logic from Mario's perspective. Like, the option is Forest Temple, like...
Right. Well, something we do know, Fire is not Hover's locked.
Interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Although I wasn't counting keys as Mario was going through Fire, so I'm not sure if we know for a fact whether Volvagia is a key or an item.
It may just be that Mario...
Hold your breath. Hold your breath. Oh, you cheeky bastard.
Oh, is Flare Dancers hinted?
Yes, I believe it is hinted.
Okay.
Although I'm not sure Mario has seen that hint.
Well, he's seen that it's nothing now. But yes, happy 1 hour, everyone. Let's make sure to give our runners a follow. Mr. Mario, Volk, Fur, and Zavi. They're all putting on a great show for us. Our trackers, Arulans, hold on. It's not that. It is Celine Butler. There we go. Warren Traveler, and of course Milkweed. And joining me in the comments booth, thank you, Sponge.
Woo!
And
Season 8!
our restreamer, Golden Devil.
Alright, we got a PG kill. This is huge for Zavi. Because, like you said, things could change. Other runners can end up coming in here, but this is tough to come back from if the seed is a straight line. Oh, I'm behind. I don't see it. Okay. Okay. All right. Strength 2. All right. We've got a game. Now we'll see. Where is that strength 3? I don't know that it's Giga Brain, Jagger. I think Zavi just felt the squeeze, no explosives, and Forrest was just quick checks, and they're like, this is my only thing in logic. Like, it made a lot of sense for Zavi. Doesn't make as much sense for the rest of our runners at the moment, and that could be tough. Zavi does need to find some explosives relatively soon. They still do have to catch up a lot of progression. We don't know if that strength 2 is progression, so to say.
Right. Could just be equally accessible.
Yeah, like you're experiencing a very strange feeling if you're Zavi right now. You're like, okay, that's good? Question mark? Like true, Virgil Dante, but we don't know if there's another easier strength out there. Because if there's like maybe we get Din somewhere relatively early, maybe, I don't know, GTG, somebody decides to reverse, and there's another strength upgrade in Shadow or something like that. He's using the choose. He's got to move. He's going to get hit by the fire. Oh, by the skin of his teeth. Le long shot. Le super grappa. In spirit. Oh, it's in the first 2 checks. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry.
Yep, so irons are in Shadow.
This is gonna be a weird one. It's tough for me to say. All right, who's in the lead here? Because there's some, at least for the moment, there's some very interesting choices our runners have to make to be on the right path here.
Yeah, Zora Tunic's on Skull Kid.
Yeah, there's no wallet tunic logic going on here. It's just Shadow is Pat the Morpha. The second scale is on Frogs 2.
Which is behind it.
Yeah, you can't gold scale. Ooh, another big chest. I'm just, with the way this game is, I'm just waiting for Zavi to find strength 3 in here.
But,
like,
I mean,
right here.
If this is strength 3... Okay. Well.
Nope. The other wallet.
Which also kills the tunic logic.
I'm just Sponge from the past. Ooh. Alright, I'm gonna refresh.
Yep. I did too, because I saw exactly what you saw when you saw it.
Alright, we back. We living. Alright, Mario's gonna get that Valley hint here. We haven't seen Child Lake yet this seed. At least I believe so. If we did, I missed it. I'm sorry. I was too busy being in the past.
I don't think so.
Yeah, with that hint early on saying that, the 2 adult lake checks were dead, it really didn't give you a lot of incentive to go lake, especially with no Serenade this seed. Alright, so for Zavi, I think right here, you're gonna do GTG because it's a bunch of checks and it's in logic now. But I think you're also gonna buy shoes here. You just picked up a wallet. You got 99. I think you do GTG. If you don't get any bombs, you spend the time, you buy some shoes, and you get started on your progression. You got Fire, you got Dongo's Cavern on the docket. You can just go bang, bang, bang. Get them all done.
The only problem is that there is a explosive locked check in GTG.
That's true. You can save it, and there's like a tiny minuscule chance that it ends up being a key, and you don't have to worry about it. Yo, a big chest in the wasteland?
Okay.
Okay, we got a bottle. You shoot some fire to get some fire.
Yeah, seriously, someone page Sadie. Like, there a big chest in Wasteland and a big chest in Valley. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yo, hang on. Did that just say Fair has 17 skulls? Fair is collecting those skulls.
Yeah, I mean, can't fault him for that. Potentially we could have a paradox later, yeah. I also agree with that.
Alright. Mario cleaning up their progression. Volk is fighting a dragon. Fair is cleaning up a little bit. Honestly, about to get an out-of-logic bomb bag. Zavi reversing the GTG. Now that they've got their long shot to put it in logic. Might buy choose at the same time. We don't know. A lot of... It's fun to see all four runners in different places. But it's also very hectic.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and Zavi took a void out in the wasteland, so...
Happens to the best of us.
Yep. For finding a bomb bag.
Honestly, probably happy about that, because it's hard bomb... excuse me. It's hard bomb locked, and like I said, a lot of players are not going to want to spend a chew on that one check, especially when you have such limited supply early. Yeah, it's not so much late bombs as it is you have to either read the hint or go to Gerudo Valley or use your bomb chews in the right places.
Mm-hmm.
As I mean, Zavi still does not have any explosives. But that lack of explosives led them to Strength 2 on Phantom Ganon. Like I was mentioning earlier on in the stream, sometimes finding the bad item... Sometimes it feels like you're almost forced to find the bad item early because you missed an item. So those like early convenient chews we were talking about, oh, this could be huge for Fair. You know, sometimes those in the short term look like, oh, very positive, this is great. But in the long term could end up biting you in the butt through no fault of your own.
Yep. Volk feeling the tingles about Forest. Doing it now.
Feeling the squeeze. Fair adult, gonna play Bolero, probably gonna follow and, you know, do fire, get some progression done. Gonna see some GTG checks on Zavi's side. I wonder what Mario's gonna do after this.
Oh my gosh. Is that Rudo's on Lax?
I see a letter on Fair's screen.
Yeah, I got airdropped to him on the platform. That's why I was like, wait, what?
That's right, because if you warp immediately when you go adult,
Yeah.
it sends you the lax item.
It airdrops shit.
It just airdrops it. Alright, so that's another medallion dungeon.
Okay, well, GTG is going to be required because that's Dins in the first check, so that is 3 key locked.
Okay, Dins and GTG, so there's a lot going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Hovers are still MIA, light arrows are still MIA, but we know lights have to be locked by one of hammer or magic because of our Bane. Hammer was a direct lead to the boomerang, so that's on the table as well. We gotta find light arrows at some point. Hopefully, for your runner's sanity's sake, you hope to find them after you get the hover boots. That way you don't have to worry about checking Ganon's castle or anything like that, or strength 3 shenanigans. Yeah, it looks like Mario's just gonna clean up around the area.
OOT is just prelude. It's not for the song. It's for the items in the dungeons.
I wonder, I feel like Zavi definitely has a lead here. I just wonder how big of a lead that actually is. They are very behind on raw progression. But, I mean, they've already found the bad item. They found the Dins.
Mm-hmm.
And Mario's going into forest now, too. So I think we're seeing a lot of runners try to stay in logic here, I feel.
Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't say Zavi has the lead anymore. Just because of Mr. Mario going into forest. Because Mr. Mario's already done fire, and that is a full fire climb. You're going to highest score on to get that key.
Yeah, it's not a quick fire.
And once they see strength 2, it's, oh, I'm going to go and do spirit. Oh, look, now I have,
a long shot.
Oh, well, that's just GTG.
Yeah.
And it puts everything on. There's just a set of rails they have to ride on now. Oh, there's some explosives for Zavi.
Zavi's prayers have been answered. They get 10 chews. Honestly, you might buy some more after this if you're Zavi. Oh, that's hammer locked. That big chest.
Mm-hmm. It is.
We do have a potential hammer path to evil's bane. I don't know why I pluralized hammer.
Because more than one is pretty good, I hear.
And
that's Jabu. I'm just saying.
Well, unfortunately for Zavi, they don't have the letter yet. They have to beat Deku first. Wait, DC, my bad. Really having some troubles with this plant here.
Mm-hmm.
Another big chest in GTG.
Oh.
Worthless lens.
The only item that it could possibly be needed for is Hinted Dead, so. Yep, hovers are another strength is about the only thing that can be an IGC. Oh, BFAs could be there too. There could be another magic, I guess. Because none of the first two things are magic locked. Or none of the requirements so far are magic locked.
Is that magic locked?
Well, forget what I was saying.
That's
There's
very
magic
important.
too.
Is that magic locked?
Hook wasn't.
No, it's not. Looking through all the items, that would take the magic out of the Evil's Bane path for the well.
Spirits and it was just like the first check inside Adult Spirit, right?
Yeah, the one on the right. Yeah, no, that's
magic's not magic locked.
Yeah, so that's that all but confirms that your hammer
is hammer path
at the Evil's Bane.
Okay. So it's not on Valley Rocks.
I guess there is still like a very small chance that it's 2 wallets for buying Blue Fire. But no, we have letter. We have logical letter. No, it's hammer for sure.
Yeah.
There's the bomb bag over in Valley Crate.
Shocker.
All right, Zavi is going to be able to grab that. They got the long shot. So Zavi is going to have their explosive problem solved. They're just going to be on a progression rush.
Yep.
For the next bit. They got DC, Spirit, freaking Fire, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to hope, oh, please, like, give me the hover boots in my progression dungeons.
I mean, I know it's path to KD, and that satisfies it. But maybe you just check the waterfall. I'm not saying it's your hover boots, but it could be your hover boots.
You got to do a pretty interesting recoil strat in order to get that.
Yeah, true.
Some runners are more or less confident in their ability to hit that recoil.
Yeah, I guess there's not really a way to get down there, even if you wanted to, like, Death Warp back up.
I think Mario is still ahead, just because they've already gotten Fire and DC done, whereas Zavi has to catch up on a lot of progression. Like, that's not an easy Fire Temple, it's a long Fire Temple. Gotta finish DC.
Yeah, Farrah's bringing up a good point. If irons are in the first 2 checks in Spirit or in Shadow, we don't actually need the hover boots. But the likelihood that it's in the first 2 checks, I mean,
it's definitely something you want to figure out sooner rather than later, though, for sure.
Right. Because if you're still looking for them after all of it and they still haven't been found, maybe it's worth a little dip into Shadow just to confirm I need to go find these hover boots and that I'm just not sitting on irons waiting for something that's never going to show up. Got some double defense here in Spirit.
All right, yeah, definitely feel a little uncomfortable at 5 hearts, especially with Iron Nook chicanery. That can happen. Always happy to pick up double defense as long as it's not too far out of the way.
Right. For using the intended method of getting down there. DMT's trail's dead, so that doesn't matter.
Just a nice piece of paper to Draw your doodles on.
Yeah. Or in combo rando toilet paper, I guess, right?
That's right.
Some nice medically signed toilet paper.
Has Bulk's explosive situation improved, or are they still rocking the one shoe life?
I believe they are still rocking the chew life.
All right. Yeah, that alone is gonna. Like, if you look at just the raw progression for the runners, like Mario and Volk both have the same number of medallion, but Mario is in a much safer, consistent position, whereas Volk is still riding the wave.
Yeah, but I mean, Volk's gonna get strength 2. Volk's gonna think, oh, I can go spirit. Is not gonna find anything in spirit, but will get long shot, go to GTG, and then find some more chews. But yeah, his
I think that might be the plan.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, like obviously their plan is just do forest and think about what to do after, and like try and stay in logic because you need to find the long shot anyway. And if long shot's your access to GTG, and that's what the seed wants you to do, which I believe this seed it definitely does.
Right.
You want to find that long shot because you have to find it anyway.
Yep.
So
and that's Wolf down for fur.
So Volk, when they pick up this strength 2 on PG, is probably gonna think, all right, I'm gonna do, like you said, I'm gonna do spirit, and then I'm gonna reverse, and I'm gonna buy 10 more chews because I got a wallet, and I'm just gonna, you know, do GTG because it's in.
Mr. Mario trying to be a gamer there and backflip over the falling ceiling to get out of there faster.
Fair is now caught up on the medallion race, just picked up their boomerang, and they've got the letter off of Lack's cutscene.
That might be enough to just go Jabu right now.
Well, I mean, it is progression, and you definitely want to keep that sort of prioritized.
Right. And there's nothing that says that the light arrows can't be in Jabu.
Yep, we've got our hammer to Evil's Bane, and hammerlock the boomerang directly. A big sigh of relief for Volk seeing that strength. Whenever you're going to the boss of a dungeon that you know you don't need to beat, you're always nervous in the back of your mind. They're like, man, did I really just screw the pooch here?
Mm-hmm.
You see that strength upgrade and so, whoo, big exhale. You're like, okay, cool. We're alive.
And a very, very quick make fight for Mr. Mario.
A good point, Purple Bomber. We know one way the seed could intend for you to progress through the seed, but that doesn't mean that there are not other ways. That is a possibility. If the lights end up being in Jabu, Fair could decide, all right, I'm going into Ganon's, and if there's a strength in there, things could change. Being able to skip all of Forest is a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, never mind. That's hard required.
Yep.
Jesus. That is a hard required stone Phantom Ganon with nothing on OOT. So when I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and they're like, oh, Sponge, why aren't you playing the first qual? I'm like, because the first qual is always shit.
Yep.
Historically, every first qual is always a crap seed. Everyone always complains about it, and then they're like, "Oh, the season tournament! I was so excited, but the seed was terrible. I hate the season tournament." This is why I get to just chill. I get to watch the seed unfold, and just miss me with all of that. That's
Yeah.
man.
I don't remember what was last year's opener qual, because it's not like we not only do we not remember the settings, I don't remember what was drafted for the first qual either.
One sec, Mario. Oh,
All
Jesus Christ.
He had half a heart. He could have gone down to a quarter. It would have been fine.
I don't know. I watch Mario a decent amount because, you know, SGL and all that, and I feel like that's happening to him constantly. He's fighting bosses on a quarter of a heart. He's like walking in a fire on 3 hearts. Like, yeah, honestly, Zavi definitely feels in a great position here, knowing for a fact that, okay, Stone Forest, hard required. I got some explosives now. Although still a lot of progression to catch up with for Zavi. And now Mr. Mario is hot on his tail. And Volk as well. In terms of catching up on the Strength 2 logic.
Mm-hmm. I would say almost Volk's ahead now. I mean, is there something Volk hasn't done that Mr. Mario has done?
No, they look relatively even.
Yeah,
in terms of raw progression.
Right. Oh, well, okay. So, I still think Mr. Mario's ahead. Volk doesn't have a bomb pack.
True, Volk has no explosives whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
and
they can't beat Spirit. So Mario is just going to be able to just run through, clean and easy, clear it all out, get it done. Well, Volk is going to have to make a bit of a detour, go buy some chews, and then come back. That's going to cost them the lead here.
Well, and I don't know if Volk's going to go necessarily buy chews right this second, or if he's going to go reverse to Wasteland.
I mean, he's got to go this way to buy chews regardless. You got to reverse no matter what. Leaving there for roars at the top of Spirit kind of makes me think, like, okay, he's planning on maybe buying chews and then either doing GTG while he's there, or just going into GTG, doing the first 2 checks, and then coming straight back, and then maybe reevaluating after. We kind of got, like, Zavi catching up on progression. Volk and Mario are kind of, like, spearheading the seed almost. Like, this is, like, almost the expected route through the seed, I would say. And then Fair is, like, the interesting part here. Like, what is the future of this seed going to look like for the rest of our runners, Mario, Volk, and Zavi? It feels like Fair is kind of, like, skipping a chapter and going straight to the future here.
Where are glow sticks? That is a good bet. But if you want to place a bet for where the glow sticks are, it is !bet and the place that you want it to be. Good places to not bet are anywhere in the Water Temple, Hyrule Field, or DMT, because it cannot be there. Ink and Golden Devil on the same brainwave, betting the same thing. Said differently.
Unfortunately, Din, water is foolish.
Yeah, Din going for the very outlandish bet. We'll see if it pays off. Well, I should probably get a bet in. Because Ring Chest is coming up.
Is it like, could it be Sun's Grave? Pretty sure it could still be Sun's Grave. I'll make a verbal bet for Sun's Grave. Why not?
Technically, yeah, it could be.
Alright. Really interested to see what Volk's gonna do here. Are they gonna clear the whole dungeon? Are they gonna go, you know, just do GTG because they're Furores of the Spirit? And then Furores back after? Or are they just gonna go right back and say, I'm doing my progression and then I'll worry about this later? Big chest on Fair's side. This would make a lot of sense. Oh, the plot thickens.
That makes my bet look a little better.
All right, so I feel like Fair's running into a bit of a problem here, where how are they gonna? They already dipped Forest. The question just becomes, how does Fair get to that strength on PG?
Running out of other things to do.
Yeah, and I think that includes Ice Cavern.
Yeah. Fair's gonna go back when Forest becomes the most check-dense play.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna do like GTG, obviously. They're gonna find their Dins there at some point. But I guess since GTG is not in logic for them, I guess for Fair, it's like, do you go back to Forest, which you've already dipped the Courtyard, for the quote-unquote slow checks, or are you going to go to a new location, or are you going to go to Ice Cavern now that you've got it in logic off of Lax cutscene? And I mean, Ice, at this juncture, Ice is very costly in terms of the standings, because we know there's going to be no bailout strength upgrade just sitting randomly. I don't know, it's a tough call, but I feel like if I was in Fair's shoes, I'd go Ice.
I mean, Fair knows Ice is in logic.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas for the rest of our runners, they all did Forest before knowing that Ice was in. Because they're like, okay, this is my highest check dense location that's in logic.
That's not true. Mr. Mario, I think, Mr. Mario would have had Rito's letter before going to
Is
Force.
it marked on? It's not marked on his tracker.
Oh!
Yeah, no.
He hasn't been to Temple of Time yet.
Yeah, neither has Volk, and neither of them have. Because they did
right,
Deku,
it's on
and
Lax.
then they did DC. Yeah, no, they haven't save warped yet. So they don't know that letter is available, so...
Right,
honestly,
it only got airdropped to Cola because he warped the Temple of Time and immediately warped out before it dropped it.
Unironically, here's the deal. Unironically, there could be a situation where Mario and Volk, they go to, you know, the GTG, they clear their stuff, and then they're just like, oh, Ice is my next best play. I'm gonna go Ice before save warping. Oh wait, no, but it's not in logic. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know why they would do that. That's bad. What am I talking about?
Unless they think it's locked behind the song. And they're just like, I need to know what song's out there.
Yeah, it would be a very weird play for hover boots. But I guess, so... whenever you decide, okay, I'm gonna go child, is when you pick up the letter, right? Or I guess you could just check it randomly while you think about something. something to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at like what's in logic for them, and it's not a lot.
Here's also another funny point. Fountain's not hinted as being foolish. And in my experience, if Fountain's not hinted foolish, it's got something important.
Yeah, I'm really worried about Fair, though, in particular, for that very reason, because they know that it's an option now. It's like, oh, Deep Forest or Ice Cavern with one less check, because you know the last check doesn't have anything, but there's still other checks along the way. That's what worries me.
Zavi's struggling with this this glitchless jump here. Gets it right at the end.
Mario probably chuckling to themselves, picking that strength up.
Does anyone know if Cola or not Cola? Zavi has a fairy.
I didn't see them pick one up, but
I don't
again,
know.
poor
30
screen.
seconds is enough, even if you do it 100% right.
With bomb shoes.
Well, with bomb shoes, but he doesn't. Oh, that's nice. Getting troll hold. He's got to have a fairy. Zavi's too experienced of a player to know that you absolutely cannot do Volve in that amount of time. Okay,
Oh,
he has
man.
one.
Okay, good. Was that enough bombs, though? They have to do one more? Yeah. Oh, no, they got BGFs. Okay, that'll clear it. Good kill. Alright, we're clearing up with Jabu. Still no light arrows, but we have the hover boots now. So this is getting interesting. So now, like, can the game? No, never. They can't do that.
What?
I was thinking, oh, could the game hint the light arrows for a medallion? But no, it can't, because the light arrows are a bridge condition. So that adds Shadow as a place where the light arrows could be.
100%.
Nice shot there from Mario.
Wow.
Fortunately, all you get is a blue fire bottle.
Hey, found the protection.
Volk's got some chews now. Now they can resume their breakneck due progression pace. Unfortunately, having to spend a little bit of time to go get them. Mario on their way to GTG to sort of cover that same ground. Zavi done with fire, is going to head over to DC now.
And I think by the time Mr. Mario finishes GTG, Zavi will be basically caught up at this point.
Yeah, it looks like it. Just needs to get that letter off of the Lax cutscene. And it's just a question of, like, when do you save work? And also, if you're Mario, when you pick up that Dins, honestly, you dip the first two as Shadow. Maybe you don't need the hover boots, from their perspective anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's very possible this seed that the irons are in the first two of Shadow, but you need the hover boots to go deeper.
Oh, for lights.
So here's what I'm thinking. If hovers are Path to Evil's Bane, Like,
Right.
because of the hammer, because hammer leads to hovers and their path to evil's bane. Wouldn't that technically mean that
That
you
doesn't
don't
mean
need
that the
hovers to
oh
unlock the bridge? Like, I'm trying to think about it because the hints can get very complicated.
oh Volk
Nice
doing
recoil, Volk.
yeah.
That's a very scary trick to perform because the punishment for failing it is so great. But gets it first try?
Yep.
Yeah, there's the
Uh
Valley hint in Valley.
yeah, the bomb boosting and mega flipping and all that other good jazz is banned. Ground jumps are not considered bomb boosting and are allowed.
All our runners are on the path here. So thankfully, we won't have a situation where, you know, we have one runner just doing, you know, the wrong thing, at least in the short term.
Yeah. Yeah, bomb boosting's more like side hop storing than actual eating yourself with the bomb someplace that you're not supposed to normally get to.
I have this nagging feeling in the back of my mind that if it is hammer, because it locks boomerang, because it locks hover boots, and all of that is path to evil's bane, which means it leads to light arrows.
Yeah. There's nothing that says it can't.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, does that mean that the hovers, like, you don't actually need the hover boots to get the iron boots? Like, the iron boots would just be in the first two checks?
So the iron boots can be anywhere inside of Shadow. Can they be behind the hover boots? Absolutely. Because the hover boots are required for bridge condition.
They're... Oh, yeah, it's locked by the two meds. Alright, yeah, I'm just...
So as long as it's in Shadow, which the irons have to be. Well, I guess they don't have to be. No, they have to be. There's absolutely no other item that could possibly arbitrarily lock them.
Well, I mean, this will answer my question.
Right. So them being there isn't logically relevant to whether it's in the first two checks or if it's in the after the hover boots. They literally can be anywhere. But yeah.
Yeah, so here's the situation. Zavi's got a lead right now. But essentially, whoever save warps first, get that letter on Lax, is going to have the advantage among these three players. Volk and Mario still have to catch up a little bit with progression and GTG and getting dins and things like that. But ultimately, it's going to be, what do you do in what order? That determines how much time you save or lose here.
Yeah, this is basically go mode.
Okay, well, we got a boss key.
Fun.
Playing Minuet? For Zavi?
Ice.
No,
no
reason to. They don't have the letter yet.
No prelude. He has to get overworld.
Yeah, maybe they were thinking something like Bomchu bowling or some child
Yeah.
cleanup.
Oh, great. Now I'm going back child anyway.
What do they have as child? Bomchu bowling, Lake. Not a lot.
What does Zavi need?
Well, I was just
Goddamn.
thinking, like, okay, what would pull Zavi child there? And I guess this is one of those seeds where, like, we're seeing a lot at one time from the restream men, but on the individual runners' sides, they're like, I guess I'll do this. I don't have that much left. And then they're like, okay, I guess I'll do this because this is my best play. Then they're like, I guess I'll do this because I don't have much left.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what Zavi's still looking for. He's got ring and letter. Well, I guess I guess there's nothing that says that we know where the hovers are. But there's nothing that's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm just gonna find my hovers in Jabu and then I'm gonna be in go mode.
Yeah, exactly. From Zavi's perspective, it's, oh, I'm just gonna get my lights in Jabu and then I'm gonna go to Ganon's castle.
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking, most likely. But they are like, okay, so I just have to kind of find the hover boots since I know they're required now because I checked the first two and I didn't get the iron boots.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, okay, I have to check everything along the way because that's what's going to happen, and I don't want to do Ganon's castle and leave my hover boots on shoe bowling.
Yep. Yep, water is barren.
So this seed ended up being not that bad, all things considered. You see, oh, required item on Stone PG, but if you stay with the logic and just kind of not go crazy, there isn't really any super crazy item locations.
They're just light arrows from go mode. Strength 2's on Phantom Ganon Heart Container. Strength 3 is, well, right there.
So I'm thinking here, like, how close is Fair here? Fair, like, they're moving through Forest Temple, then they gotta do Spirit, but they've already done Jabu.
I wasn't counting keys. Was toilet hinted?
I don't think so, but it's not going to be relevant for our runners.
Well, Mr. Mario's setting an FW here.
Maybe it's just to be safe. I do that sometimes.
Okay.
If I'm not sure, just throw it down, and it couldn't hurt to have it there.
Well, but by the same logic, I'm just saying irons are in shadow. We're not questioning that because they have to be. They're hinted for there. But irons are also locked behind the hammer, which makes the toilet locked behind the hammer.
Technically, you are correct.
What do you mean, technically? I just don't. I wasn't looking at keys, so I don't know if it is or not. You know.
Yeah, it's tough to count keys, and especially when you're watching a GTG, because a lot of runners will peek the maze, see like nothing, and then just only pick up the amount of keys they need. So the little counter in the bottom left doesn't help that much.
Bones. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't read that. But yes, as Bones has pointed out, it could be irons locking water completion for HBA.
Or it could be Sun's grave. No, I'm kidding. I mean, the lights, yeah. It could be.
As disgusting as that is, yes, lights can technically be on Lab Dive, which is also locked behind irons.
No, they can't overlap. Because if irons were required for the bridge condition, the game couldn't hint them as Path to Morpha. So, unfortunately,
but it's
irons...
being well, but the Path to Evil's Bane is just the hammer.
Well, yeah, but like if the irons locked, like the light arrows are required to open the bridge. So if the irons locked the light arrows, there couldn't be a Shadow to Morpha path hint. Because if it locked the bridge condition,
right.
Yeah, so we know that it's not locked by the irons.
Right. Because then it would be Shadow to or it would be like Shadow to Evil's Bane or
something like
something
that.
else.
Or Spirit would be Path to Morpha for the long shot. Like.
So the rule set change didn't make irons hard required. Irons are hard required because we have a hinted scale on Frogs 2, which is locked behind water completion, which means you can't gold scale water. That's what's making the irons hard required.
Davi probably very happy to find those hover boots because from their perspective, yeah, they were thinking, all right, it's just lights and then go Ganons and hope the hovers are in there and hope that I didn't miss them anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now it feels like a much more streamlined, grab the hovers, do shadow, get your iron boots, keep going, get your light arrows, do water, finish.
So I'm guessing what Mario's thought process on that was. He doesn't know where the hovers are at, and as far as he knows, it could be irons locking the hover boots. We know it's not the case, but that is still a logical possibility for Mr. Mario at this point.
He could have also just straight up forgotten that he can do the first two checks.
Yeah, that possibly too.
When you're this deep in a seed, it's very, I don't want to say common, but it's very realistic for runners to forget small details. Some runners will be like, oh, Shadow, I need the hover boots. Not thinking that they can do the first two checks. I've definitely done that before.
Or oh, sorry.
I was because like sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'll do this after, and then I'll be like, oh, damn it, I should have dipped the first two checks of Shadow. But it's like dipping fire almost. It's like it doesn't feel good, but sometimes it's good.
I think Volv was the spare key, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because we could climb all the way up to. We did see Pierre.
So I feel like Zavi's definitely got the lead of our 4 runners. Taking a look at where Fair is right now compared to where Zavi is in Javu. Fair's got a long Twin Rova height, while Zavi is like about to enter the Baronade fight. So it looks like we got Zavi as, you know, 1, and then Volk's heading up to Jabu right now. Mario is right behind him. They're basically neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Fair might be ahead of those two. I honestly, yeah, I think Fair is ahead of those two.
Oh yeah, because Fair's already done Jabu.
Yeah, and the Twin Rova fight is faster than the entirety of Jabu.
Yeah, true.
But Fair also doesn't have Dins. That's a problem. So they still have to go get Dins. Yeah, that's the issue. I think the other two are ahead. Fair is taking up the rear just because they don't have that Dins yet. They still have to go to GTG after this.
Mm-hmm. We have some synchronized Jabuing right now.
Although, Fair is in a position where they could dip out of GTG at the Dins.
Right.
I don't remember exactly which check it was. If it was the one in the maze, on the back of the maze. No, that was the Magic 2.
It is 1 key locked on the left. Well, it's 3 key, but it's the left side of the maze when you come in. It's that torch check. The one opposite Scarecrow chest.
Oh, the fake ceiling, the one that you have to climb the wall. Yeah,
ceiling,
okay, that guy.
Yeah, so technically 3 key, but realistically, if you have 1 and you just check it.
Yeah, honestly, that's Fair can save a lot of time there. If because like what runners tend to do, especially the runners in this particular race, is you get that key from the lobby, you go into the middle, and you do your peaks, and then you just spend your key.
Yeah,
check the
spend
fake
your
ceiling.
1 key. Turns out that's gonna be the right choice.
Because I mean, at that point, Fair knows. Like, I got everything. I just got Dins. That's gonna let me get into Shadow. Hovers might be Pat the Evil's Bane. Let me just go. Go get my stuff.
And happy 2 hours, everyone. So Cola thinks that these are his glow sticks, and they are not. Because up until about an hour and 40 minutes in, Cola did not have a bomb bag.
I forgot that Zavi hasn't opened this chest, to be honest.
And show me a wallet.
They didn't have explosives for so long. Now what are they thinking? Because they definitely expected to get light arrows there.
Well, now they're thinking I need to go into Shadow.
Yeah, but they have the means to do so. It just means that instead of getting the light arrows and then bailing at the irons in Shadow, now it's okay. Now I have to think about the logic and.
Right. But yep, a happy 2 hours to everyone. You want to do a shout out?
A shout out? Oh, like for trackers and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's shout out our cool people. Let me just get that command in there. Shout outs to our trackers. Let me just make sure I get this right. Celine Butler, Virgil Dante, Melqui, and Warren Traveler. Shout out to our restreamer, Golden Devil. And shout outs to my co-commentator, New IT Guy. It's been a lovely ride to this point. I think we're getting to the end of the seed. I think we've all had a good time. The season 8 kickoff qual.
Yep.
All in all, definitely one of the nicer qual 1 seeds to this point. At first I thought the strength 2 on PG, that could be pretty bad, but it seems like every runner has had a reasonable path through the seed to this point.
Yeah, we've had a good time.
Is it really a world tour worth having if you don't go to ice? I think that's the important question here.
And I don't think there's a way that you can just put lights in ice at this point.
No, it's not possible.
No, because there's nothing hammer locked about it.
Now it's just how deep do you go in Shadow? How deep are the lights?
Oh, you just beat Shadow at this point. Because at the rate we're going, it's just going to be on Bongo.
So I'm feeling for this seed, I feel like it's tough to really be led astray. Like, I feel like the only real issue that players could have is if you do things in the order that Fair did and then decide instead of going Deep Forest, there's our light arrows. That solves that problem. Now you just stay for the iron. Nice and easy. The only real problem you can have is if you end up going ice to the Deep Forest.
Darn.
No craziness.
They were in the second check. I know I was nowhere close with the manager.
So I got a feeling about this seed that we're gonna have a lot of condensed finishers. A lot of people finishing very close to one another, because I feel like it's hard to really, if you're paying attention to logic and you're staying, you know, within yourself, not going to Ice Cavern without the letter or anything like that. Like, this could be a seed where to score a lot of points, you've got to be one of those like top 10, 15 finishers.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. That's probably the right bet.
The worst part about this is having to Nocturne back to TOT. I don't know about you, but I hate seeds like that.
Yep.
The ones where you just gotta walk through CAC every time you want to go adult. Especially at this point in the seed where you're basically done and you're just feeling nervous because you're like, all right, this is how it should be. Nobody's done yet. Maybe I can still snag a good time. Right. Second jump slash for Volk. Nice Baronade kill. We've seen a lot of great execution from our runners on stream today. And I expect no less from the runners of this caliber. We've had a couple of hiccups here and there, particularly on Mario's side. But it's been very clean throughout for the most part. For those who may be tuning in to an OOTR standard restream for the first time, this is just a glimpse at some of the talent you can find at the top level of our wonderful game.
I mean, technically, It is all dungeons.
You have to go into all of both of your stone dungeons.
I mean, yeah, there's a good chance that we're going to have to beat the boss, though.
A decent chance at this point. I'm hoping for the runners, sakes, we don't.
Okay, for choosing to just drop FW in GTG and not actually go in there. Gonna check Valley.
That is gonna cost some time, unfortunately. But, I mean, with the Hammer Bane, that's something that you definitely want to check.
Mm-hmm.
Because Fair probably thinking, okay, lights could be in Hammer Rocks, grab lights, go Ganons, or maybe go back to GTG. Alright, how deep do we gotta go for these Iron Boots?
Hey, look! There's the copy of the Hintstone. What do you know?
Just a slap in the face when you're down. Although, honestly, Fair, probably pretty happy about that. All things considered, considering where they found their path to King Dodongo hint locked behind using an explosive.
Mm-hmm.
We got a big boy. There we go. Go mode for Zabi.
Mm-hmm.
Looking very likely, Zavi will be our first restream runner to finish. I'm gonna go with like a 2. I'm gonna go with a 2:20. I'm gonna say we're 10 minutes out. Oh, we have to walk to water too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this sucks. There's nothing I hate more than like a finish to the seed where you have to walk everywhere because you're just nervous the whole time.
Yeah, depending on how bad this boss key is. Plus, I mean, even if you're climbing with BGS, what it's you're looking at a 3-minute climb.
Did we get an oops on Volk? What just happened?
I don't know.
Volk is back at Temple of Time. Oh, he bailed from Shadow. Did he have? I mean, that hint was in CAC, right? The Shadow Nemorpha?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he must not...
He's got it on a tracker.
He must not understand that lights can't lead to the irons because of path prioritization.
Mm-hmm.
If I am correct with that assumption...
You are.
Well, I mean, we'll have to ask Volk to make like for sure, but that's a very costly misread of the hints. Because I mean, Ganon's it's not long, but it ain't short.
Right.
He's just going straight up too. Maybe he thinks that he can get a light arrow hint. Or maybe he's just the type to check the boss key chest first and then go around the outside.
What would a light arrow hint do in this case for him?
Yeah, I forgot that he already had the light arrows to get here.
Yeah. Well, Arrow Hint doesn't do anything in here. Maybe Ganon's like the last item you need was in the temple. Go back. Well, actually, technically speaking, he is giving him that hint. It's just not the hint that he thinks he's getting.
Did Zabi get the boss key, or are they just setting furores here in the boss room? Just setting furores, okay.
Yeah.
A common go mode strat for Water Temple. You come here, you set your Furore's Wind down, and if you have to lower the Water Temple to get your boss key for whatever reason, you just hit Furore's Wind and you're right back here. You get to save a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
You only lose time if you have to, if the boss key would be in the first check.
He has it. It's on his tracker.
Yeah, the only explanation I can think of is that he is unaware that...
he's 100% unaware. And the reason I know is because he has light arrows next to it on his tracker.
Okay. Yes, that is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost some time, for sure. And like I said, in this race, I'm expecting a lot of condensed finishers. It's not guaranteed, but that's just, you know, how I'm feeling about the way the seed is letting you go. Like, this 6-7 minutes spent in Ganon's castle, maybe? I'm not entirely sure of how much time it is, but these minutes spent in Ganon's castle can be very costly in terms of placement, but more importantly, points.
Mm-hmm. Wait, is that BFA or is that a rupee?
I haven't seen them. Fair also has 6 keys, so they took the longest possible route to get to their dins, unfortunately.
This is the slingshot? Oh, a bow. Okay, we didn't have all the bows.
Alright, Fair's got their dins.
And that's go mode for Fair.
Well, I mean, assuming they don't bail at the later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Fair ending up clearing all of GTG. Not really going to save any time over the competitors. Like we were hoping. For Fair's sake. And they're on their way into Shadow. Yep, you can't blame them. Some people will they'll go around the outside and then do the maze, because that's just, you know, it's faster if your check that you need is around the outside. Some people will go to the maze first.
And it is in central bow target.
Okay, so mid-water.
Lights were in the 3rd/4th check of Shadow and irons were on is it the Gibdo room before the boat?
Yep. Right before the boat. Not really, Alex.
Nope.
It was more just it ended up being the best location at a certain point based on what was available to you in logic. And Zavi ended up going in there very early because they didn't have bombs for a long time, and for them it's like, okay, this is the best place where bombs could be right now.
Yep.
I imagine we'll have finishers rolling in any minute now.
Mm-hmm.
Like Zavi will be done in like 4-ish minutes. Just got to get that boss key and climb the tower. Oh no, Volk.
Oof.
Yeah, that's what I expect, Golden Devil. I expect there to be clusters of finishers. I expect Zavi to finish around, like, within the first cluster, maybe even leading the first cluster.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean, wink wink. But definitely within the first cluster. But regardless, in a qual, you gotta think points over position. It's nice to win, but second is a lot of points as well. Third, same thing. Like,
Right.
instead of getting caught up in the, oh man, maybe I didn't get first, or like top X, you just gotta look at it as, look at all these points that I got. I played really well. And Zavi has played this very well to this point.
And Zavi definitely felt better that forest play paid off for him.
Yeah, that was the big sort of moment in this seed. It's not necessarily the fact that Strength 2 was on PG and they got it early. It's the fact that Strength 3 was inaccessible. Like, there are many scenarios that could have played out where, oh, Forest, like, ended up being a big waste of time because Strength 3 was just chilling out over on some other checkpoints.
Had we not gotten KF to Rova and gotten Forest to Rova, I think it would have been a little friendlier to oh yeah, everyone just went to Forest because, well, yeah, it's got your strength too.
Yeah, that would honestly, that would have made the seed, like, I don't want to say free, but very easy.
Yes.
Especially for the early game.
Zavi just made it past the Spice Girls and is on to fight Ganon.
Was Mario able to peek that chest in the cutscene? I gotta go back and watch that when this is over. Because I've been thinking about that for a while, if you could actually do that. But it looked like he did. But... I mean, no finishers yet.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the snipers could have, you know, they could have their red dot sight.
Yes, buddy.
Oh, that was a little interesting routing by Volk there. I was like, why is Volk going backwards through Shadow? Volk went to get the 3 checks first, hoping that the irons would be there, so they could just leave. But unfortunately, they had to come back for this.
Yep. hoping that keys weren't where they were.
I respect that. All right, it's gonna be great points for Zabi. That's the real kicker here. Getting ready to finish off Ganon. Mario heading to Ganon. Gonna be relatively close behind. Get your GGs in chat. Zavi, the first of our restreamed runners to finish. GGs, Zavi. I don't see any information about placement or final time. Nothing's in chat. I can't see the ticker.
Yep, we do not see the ticker.
I will look at the race room. Okay. GG Zavi, finishing in second place in Qual 1 with a final time of 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 19 seconds. Are we allowed to talk about first? Okay.
Yep.
Congratulations to Floosh winning Qual 1 with a very funny 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 22 seconds.
And welcome in, Zavi. GG's.
Welcome, welcome. Congratulations. GG's. Are you here?
Can you hear?
If you're speaking, we can't hear you.
Is this?
Yep.
Hello.
No, thank you. I'm sorry.
Hello. It's okay. I was just thinking maybe you had some tech issues. GG's, nice run. Second place. That's gonna net you a whole lot of points. Great way to start off your qual season. Take us through what you were feeling, especially early in the seed, where it felt like you were really feeling the explosive squeeze.
Yeah, I was like pretty bottlenecked by that explosives, and I had a feeling that it's in Valley or Lake, but I committed to Forest, which was a solid play, I think. In the end, at least.
It definitely, in terms of check density, it felt like a solid play. I was commenting earlier on. I'm saying, oh well, I mean, this could make or break Zavi's race here, because this is like, for Zavi it makes perfect sense, but for our other restream runners, like Fair especially, had explosives very early off of Richard that they were able to use, and Mario and Volk ended up like going Forest later than you did because they had more things to do with their explosives.
With the bomb back, like the entire seat opens up, I feel like. Because you can actually go to Ganon's, can you? I think you can. But I don't know if anyone did that.
On Restream, Volk ended up going to Ganon's.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it wasn't in a position where Ganon's could have had anything from their perspective. We suspect that they might have not known that light arrows cannot be on the path to a medallion dungeon.
Oh, they left Shadow after getting light?
Yeah, they left Shadow and then went to Ganon. So we did see Ganon's on Restream for that reason.
Okay.
We did not see Ice. None of our Restream runners ended up going to Ice. Everyone kind of ended up converging at the same time. But what we've noticed is that Fair ended up doing a lot more thorough routing, especially in the early adult one. And we were discussing that those early chews, we thought, oh, this could be such a big boon for Fair, getting those chews very early, ended up kind of being a loss in sort of a way, because it kept them from where they needed to be faster.
Yeah, also the strength on Twin Rover was like, come on, Seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
So-
losing to the Flush is fine. That's probably just execution. I had some mistakes there, here and there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I expected more like cluster finishers, because I'm like, okay, this seed kind of makes sense when you do things in this order, but there's a big gap here between second and third. Third place that might end up being Mr. Mario here on Restream. If he could secure third place, that would be quite the dense point total as well.
So there was there a bomb back on Richard or choose?
10
was
shoes.
choose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The first logical bomb bag was in Valley.
Yeah.
Mario and found one with choose on Hyrule Castle Fair.
Oh god.
So they had a bomb bag much earlier.
Oh. Was there King Dodongo path then?
Yes.
Yes, it's next to the waterfall.
It's funny.
It's
It's in Valley and in the wall in Crater that you have to spend an explosive to get.
Oh god, no.
GG's to Mr. Mario, finishing in third place with a time of 2 hours, 29 minutes, and 20 seconds. Great run for Mario. Lost a little bit of time there in the middle, due to, general routing, but overall, very, very solid. Great points. Is that a Mr. Mario?
Yo,
Hey! Welcome,
Hello,
and
GG's.
GG's.
thank you. GG's. This is a cool seed.
So I don't want to ask the generic question to you, but so we saw a very, I don't want to say like extremely different, but like a slightly different early game between you and Zavi, where Zavi was really strapped for explosives for a long time. So they ended
Oh,
up going Forest very early, relatively
Okay.
speaking, to the rest of you, hoping to maybe find explosives or bombs because it was a pretty dense location. Whereas you were able to, get some chews off of Richard, and then that led to your bomb bag and Castle Fairy that let you kind of do other checks along the way.
All the while, I'm thinking, you know what? There's probably just bombs in River Lake. I mean, Valley Lake. And sure enough, there they were. I got the Valley to King Dodongo hit, and I'm like, oh, of course.
Mhm.
Because I was really debating whether or not I wanted to do Valley Lake after Lon Lon, because really got nothing in that first little child segment, but I figured I'll just go adult, my normal, and hope to get something. And then when
Did
that
you-
was basically nothing, it's like, oh god.
Did you directly play Lost Woods? Like,
Yeah, after Kokiri
where we
Forest.
spawned? Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't want to play it because I was scared it's foolish, maybe. So
Yeah,
I
that's the
skipped that.
thing with with child spawn. Like, if you are near Lost Woods, then it's
Mm.
yikes. Wait, so you just skipped it outright entirely and never went back?
Oh, I went back for it.
Oh, okay. I'm like, no way you just skipped Lost Woods.
No.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I commented on early on, where Mario, you had done the 2 Lost Woods checks. Immediately you got them out of the way, whereas the other 3 runners,
Yeah,
both Fair
a little
and
bit of a
Zavi,
refund.
both went straight to Lon Lon Ranch. I assume it was because you could get a Lost Woods Baron at Temple of Time, and then you don't have to do those checks. Would I be correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see that more and more, especially with the Kokiri Forest spawn.
Yeah, technically I wouldn't even have done Kokiri Forest Case chest if there was no big chest in Mido's house.
Oh.
Only if I see a
Yo.
big chest in there, I do that check.
The old season 3 meta. Nothing
Oh
in
my
Midos.
god. Yeah. It's back.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Oh my god. It's so funny.
We've had a couple of more finishers roll in. We've had Marco, 4th place, 2 hours, 30 minutes, 30 seconds. Cola coming in 5th, 2 hours, 31 minutes, 37 seconds. Ryukane, 2 hours, 32 minutes, 45 seconds, and 6th. Flea, 7th, 2 hours, 33 minutes, 4 seconds. And Me Think So, 8th place, 2 hours, 33 minutes, 33 seconds. So look at that concentration of finishers there between 3rd and 8th. Like, that's really gonna squeeze the average total for the race to be very close.
Yeah. Too bad I died in fire basically twice.
Oh, what? No.
Well, oh my god, I tried to do an ocarina stall on the block going up to the middle part of fire and just backflipped off of the block. So I'm like, oh no. And I had to reset for the timer. And then for some reason Volvadia like popped out of 2 holes in the second round, so that was frustrating.
Mhm.
And I didn't buy a tunic because I'm like, oh, I got 6 hearts. This is fine.
So there's actually a tunic on 10 skulls.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, I gotcha. I'm trying to. It's impossible for me to remember everything about this sea watching 4 runners for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I got that after doing fire in DC with the rest of Adult Kick.
I don't remember how many skulls I had in the end. Maybe 4 or
I got to
5?
17.
17, okay, wow.
Yeah. And then after getting the hovers in Jabu, I'm like, oh, the seed's over. Okay.
Yeah, we were seeing you, Zavi, still do some checks on your way to Jabu. Like we had already.
Yeah.
Fair was actually the first person in Jabu on Restream, so we had already known
Makes
what was in Jabu, and so we were like, okay, Zavi probably thinks it's going to be lights in Jabu, and then you go into Ganon's castle, so you don't want to skip checks because you don't want to do all of Ganon's if your hovers are on Bombchu Bowling.
Actually, I had no idea that there has to be something on Jabu because I skipped the big chest in bottom of the way and I thought the entire time,
What?
Okay,
That's true. Yeah, you didn't
that
have
has to be lights, so
explosives. Yeah.
that's
Oh my
why I was
gosh.
looking for hovers.
Okay. That
I was
makes
kind of
sense.
convinced that lights were in the way, but then I got the wallet and
Did you
Yeah.
So when you got those hover boosts, did you consider skipping the rest of Jabu?
yeah, I skipped everything else.
Oh, okay. I sorry, I must have looked away at that point. That's crazy. Holy shit.
That's bold.
I mean,
Oh.
that
Honestly,
was the only rank locked check in there. Stingers isn't rank locked, so couldn't be.
well, Compass Chest is ring locked.
Oh, yo. Oh,
I'm like,
God.
wow, that's bold. That takes like less than a
Yeah.
minute, and it could
but
be your lights.
I was very convinced that it's in bottom of the well. Oh no. Yeah, that
But I
could
mean,
have been awful. But
the seed is really cool because it showcased the path prioritization really well. Like, if
Mhm.
you knew your hints, you know that Shadow has to have irons and light arrows.
yeah,
Couldn't technically it have been behind like Burning Cack or
yeah. I think it could
No.
be burning kick, right? Because
it's
that's rank locked.
hammer
No,
lock.
it's not. It's hammer locked.
If light arrows were behind Burning Keg, then
Yeah.
it would be path. Shadow would be path to Evil's Bane instead of Morpho.
Oh,
Oh yeah, because of that. Yeah,
True.
we I didn't make the connection in my mind, but we did talk about that on stream. How it couldn't be irons locking light arrows. That makes sense.
Yeah. So and then light arrows couldn't lock irons either, because then Shadow wouldn't be Morpho again.
GG's to Volk, by the way, finishing in 11th place with a time of 2 hours, 37 minutes, and 1 second. Still a good run. Honestly, all of these runs here on Restream, I like to look at points, not placement. You might think like, oh, 11th, it's 11th place. But in terms of points, it's still going to be, honestly, a very solid start for all of our runners. I'm very happy for that.
Yep. Volk going to be earning 947 points off that.
That'll count. That's a score that'll count.
Yep, that's a good one.
Fair, not too much further behind.
All right, I'm heading out. Thank you for the restream.
Thank you for joining us.
See you.
Yep.
Bye.
Yeah,
Have
I'm
a good
gonna
day.
follow suit.
All right.
Yeah,
GG's.
GG's. Thanks again.
Have a good one, everybody. All right, fair. On the last phase. Maybe last to finish on Restream, but certainly not last in our hearts. Oh. Took a shot. All right, Ganon down.
Bacon for us.
Get our GGs readies in chat. And GG's to Fair, finishing in 13th place with a time of 2 hours, 39 minutes, and 23 seconds. Good run. This is a race that all of these runners can build off of for the rest of their quals. I think it's really important mentally to get a good score to start.
Yep.
Will we be joined by Volk and Fair for an interview? No, we will not be joined by Volk. Not sure about Fair yet.
13th place will get Fair 931 points.
All right.
So very, very good score still.
We are not going to be joined by Fair either.
Okay.
So I don't know if you all have anything else you want to say to wrap up the stream.
I mean, that's a wrap for Qual 1 of Season 8. It is tournament time, baby, and I can't be more hyped.
As well as Alexi, who we unfortunately couldn't keep on the stream. Thanks to our two commentators, Sponge and New IT Guy, and all of our trackers, Aurelians, Virgil Dante 100, Melqui, and Warren Traveler. We are going to go right over to Gymnast 86. We don't want to rate anyone who's still in the race. But if you check the race time room, there are a lot of people finishing off. Just, don't spoil them in chat. And we'll be back with Qualifier 2, I believe it is 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So please come on back and have a good Saturday night.
I have one thing to say.
Oh,
Yes, it's important.
Go quick. You have until the raid bar goes down.
Okay.
Sorry.
So one thing, it's all good. Don't worry. We have plenty of time. So one thing, check out the ZSR YouTube in the next few days. Okashi, our very own race mod Oak, decided to do a post-qualifier weekly analysis video. It's gonna be a weekly video on ZSR covering the last few qualifiers. There's already a pre-qualifier video up, so check that out. It's gonna be really nice for you. I hope you enjoy that. Thank you so much for watching. And now let's raid over.
We have
chat.
Alexis in the waiting room.
Too late. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay.